I'm really disturbed about the direction that the Patriots are heading in the future, because you got Gerard Mayo in his first year as the head coach, who was supposed to be the successor to Bill Belichick whenever he decided to retire or get fired. It was put in his contract that he was the next man up. And yet, after one season, there is a lot of smoke around the Patriots potentially moving off him, which is an incredibly irrational decision to make from somebody that you already had in your mind and vetted to be the next man up, and yet you're going to fire him after one season when you knew that this team was not going to be good. Like, what was Robert Kraft and the Patriots front office expecting? You have an inexperienced head coach with one of the worst rosters in the NFL. You already have several injuries to some of your best players also, and you thought that you were going to be better than what you have been. The Patriots currently are 3-12 entering the final 2 weeks of the 2024 regular season, and 7 out of 12 of their losses have been decided by one possession. Their young rookie quarterback, Drake May, is playing exceptionally well. He looks like the answer at quarterback for this franchise, but yet they want to ruin Drake May's development by firing Gerard Mayo and forcing him to have to learn a new system, play under a new head coach in his second season, which is the most important for a young quarterback, because year 2 is when you see that massive jump. Year 1 is just you getting your feet wet. Year 2 is when you really start to establish yourself as that man, as that guy, as the franchise quarterback. That's really when you develop that title. And by firing Gerard Mayo, it seems like they want to bring back Mike Vrabel, who used to play for the Patriots. He played under Bill Belichick. He played for Tom Brady as well. You know, Tom Brady, Bill, they have nothing but great things to say about Mike Vrabel. He had a lot of success as the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. But I feel like Mike Vrabel is a little bit overrated in this sense, because going to the Patriots, where you have a young quarterback with a coach who primarily focuses on the defensive side of the football, Mike Vrabel isn't really perceived to be a defensive-minded coach. He's more perceived as a culture builder, a good locker room guy. But in a situation like this, Mike Vrabel is the last head coach who I would trust to develop my franchise quarterback, because the Patriots' success, how far they goes, hinges on how much Drake May can develop from now to this next season. And when you have to learn a new system, it kind of sets you back in your development. And the only time Mike Vrabel was able to have a competent offense was when he had Arthur Smith as his offensive coordinator. As soon as Arthur Smith dipped for the Atlanta Falcons head coaching job, you saw the Titans offense dip. And that's why he eventually got fired during his last season in Tennessee. And the draft class that the Patriots have brought in from the 2024 draft is absolutely terrible. The only guy that's really making plays is Drake May, and everybody else after him is just a complete whiff. And the main guys who have been getting a lot of PT for the Patriots are the guys that Bill Belichick drafted, which is insane for a guy who was out of touch and outdated and sucked at drafting and was a reason for why the roster was as depleted talent-wise as what it is. It's funny how the guys Bill Belichick drafted, Kayshon Boutte, Pop Douglas, turns out to be some of the best players on the Patriots, especially on offense. And these aren't guys that Bill Belichick drafted high. These were like day 3 picks. Pop Douglas, I believe, was like a 6th rounder. Kayshon Boutte, I think he was either a UDFA or a 7th rounder. So the fact that these are the 2 most reliable weapons on offense kind of shows you that since they made the decision to fire Bill Belichick, they really don't know what direction they're headed, because they don't really know how to drive themselves down the right road per se. Because when you're hiring a guy that you already had set in stone was going to be the successor for Bill Belichick, and then you want to cut bait with him after 1 year because you feel like the team should be better relative to the talent that they have, it just kind of shows how delusional and how out of touch Robert Kraft and the rest of this front office is from reality. Reality was that the best the Patriots were going to be this year was a 7-8 win team this year. And with them playing in 7 close games, you know, if the ball would have bounced in a different direction, they could have had a way better record than what they have now. But regardless, you were never going to contend for the division. You were never going to be a playoff team. Hell, you are never going to have a winning record. You can be a great coach when you have a bottom of the barrel roster. You're only so limited. And they didn't want to rush Drake May because if you rush his development, you throw him out to the wolves before he's ready, you can further set him back even further. So I think that Gerard Mayo did a really good job of managing the Drake May situation, putting him in at the right time, making a quarterback change at the right time. And he's gotten the most out of this team for the talent that they have. This is probably the second or the worst roster in football. Either you think they're better than the Carolina Panthers or the Carolina Panthers may be slightly better than them. I would like to say that they're slightly better than the Carolina Panthers, but this is not a good roster. And when you have a defensive-minded coach and you're trying to develop a young quarterback, it's just so easy to derail his development, especially when you're hiring, once again, a new head coach who doesn't even specialize on offense. It would be one thing to go from Gerard Mayo to Ben Johnson, but going from Gerard Mayo to Mike Vrabel, you know, I don't really see how that helps Drake May. And how better, if you do believe that Gerard Mayo should be fired, how better do you think this team could be? Because even then, if you get in Mike Vrabel, it's not like Mike Vrabel overachieved every year he was in Tennessee. His last 2 seasons, he had losing records. So, I mean, I really don't get what direction the Patriots want to go. Because you knew that this was going to be a season that you were going to have to take to rebuild. You were going to have to fight through the growing pains. You got a lot of cap space. You got a lot of draft capital. So you would like to believe that if you go into this offseason with Gerard Mayo, you killed the NFL draft, you crush in free agency, you could be one good offseason away from being a playoff contender next year as long as Drake May takes that next step. So why not give Gerard Mayo another year? You know, it's really disturbing the path that the Patriots are heading on because they look like what the Chicago Bulls have been ever since Michael Jordan retired, which is, you know, nothing but a carcass of history. And it seems like that's what the Patriots are going to be. They're going to be nothing but a ghost of the past. When you think of the Patriots, you don't think of what they are now. You think of what they used to be when they were at their best. You reminisce on the Brady-Belichick dynasty. And I really don't understand why Robert Kraft decided to go on that smear campaign to try to demean everything that Bill Belichick did for him and that organization. He put the Patriots on the map. If it wasn't for Bill Belichick, there would be no Brady. There would be no 6 Super Bowl trophies that Robert Kraft gets to brag about every day he wakes up. You know, the Patriots wouldn't be worth as much now as what they would have been if you never hired Bill Belichick. So I feel like this season is also a little bit of karma for how Robert Kraft tried to crap on Bill Belichick. You know, the energy that you put out, you always get back in return. My mama always told me this. And Robert Kraft is getting back some of that energy because now you just are walking around like a chicken with his head cut off because you really don't know the right direction to go with this team, with this organization. Do you keep the head coach that you had and waiting for so many years, or do you just cut bait with them after one because you feel this team could have been better relative to the talent that you had coming into this year?